الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
الحمد لله عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته ومنتهى علمه وجميع ما شاء وخلق وبارك عالم الغيب وشهادة الرحمن الرحيم المالك القدوس العزيز الحكيم أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد يحيي ويميت بيده الخير وهو على كل شيء قدير وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم أرسله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله ولو كره المشركون أما بعد فيقول الله تعالى في سورة النجم وما ينطق عن الهوى إن هو إلا وحي يوحى صدق الله العظيم. Alhamdulillah, we thank and we praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for guiding us to this beautiful deen of Islam. We thank and we praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for not only sending down a perfect book, but sending down Uswatun Hasana, a beautiful and perfect, excellent example in the life of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. See, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is, as he was called by his wife Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, Quran Yamshi fil ard, the Quran walking on the earth. So not only do we have the text, the manual, the instruction manual, the guide, but we have the live implementation of it. So when you follow the book and the Sunnah, the Quran, and the example of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we cannot and will not go wrong. Alhamdulillah. It's only when we seek to abandon the Quran and the Sunnah or try to pretend that the Sunnah contradicts the Quran or something of that sort, then that is when we fall into problems. Alhamdulillah. I like to use something that recently happened and draw some attention to it. Now I know, alhamdulillah, a lot of people in this community are not really on social media like that. And that's a double-edged sword. That's good and it's bad. It's good because you miss a lot of the nonsense. But it's bad because you miss a lot of the good things. See, some of you that don't involve yourself in social media, you may stay up on what's going on by watching the news or something like that. Well, I'm here to inform you that times have changed. Because most of the news, the actual news, I'm not talking about the propaganda, the news part, most of that comes from social media. See, with social media, everybody plays a part in it. You may see something happening and pull out your cell phone and record it and upload it to your social media platform, and it may go viral. It may in fact be something that the media wants to hide. Like what happened a couple of years ago in Ferguson, Missouri, with the execution of Michael Brown. That thing circulated on social media. His dead body laying in the middle of the street all that time. The local news was not carrying it, but social media had it. So they had to jump in on it because they will be exposed for what they are, a propaganda tool. Why is it that everybody on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and every other social media outlet is talking about this thing, but you're the news and you don't have it? And it's something major like that, a police-involved shooting. So then, and this is the case many a time, something is trending on social media, people are sharing it, and then the regular news media is forced to jump in on top and cover the news that they initially didn't want to cover. So a lot of times, you're watching something on the news, and it's already been put out for the public, sometimes a day or two before it even happened on the news. But a lot of you wouldn't know that because you're not on social media. You'll come and say, hey, guess what I heard on the news last night? And everybody else is on social media like, yeah, I know. It was on my news feed. And so I'm saying it's a double-edged sword, just like with anything else. There's some good and there's some bad. Depends on how you use it. What I'm about to extract a lesson from today is something bad that happened on social media. So if you missed this, alhamdulillah, you didn't miss something. It's good that you didn't come across it. About a week ago, everybody began talking about a statement that a so-called Muslim made about Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. And I say about a week ago, so I find it strange because the person actually said it about 4 years ago. The person wrote a blog and made this statement about 4 years ago. But for some reason, it popped up and all of the Muslims became outraged and they started talking about it about a week ago, maybe a little less than that. This person claimed to be on Hajj, and she began reflecting on the rites of Hajj. And if you know about Hajj, you know many of the rites and rituals that the Muslims perform at Hajj are based upon some actions that were taken by Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, his wife Hajar, their son Ismail. So this woman began reflecting on the Sa'i, the running between the mountains of Safa and Marwa. And if you're familiar with that story, you already know that the Prophet Ibrahim brought his wife and his son out to Mecca before it was even called Mecca. It was called Mecca. There was nothing there. And he left his wife and his son with a satchel or a bag of food and water. Not too much dialogue. He just turned around and began to leave them there. And so this woman that's making this Hajj, she's reflecting on this. And in her comments, she calls Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam a deadbeat dad. And if you know the whole story, she calls Prophet Ibrahim's other wife, Sarah, a selfish B-word. This is a Muslim, a so-called Muslim. She called Prophet Ibrahim a deadbeat dad, and she called his wife, Sarah, a selfish bee. And then her article, she's trying to make a connection between Hajar. If you know your Islamic history, Hajar is from Africa. She's a black woman. Hijr is in the lineage of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You know, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is descendant from Prophet Ibrahim through his son Ismail, and obviously his mother Hijr. In our Islamic text, Hijr is called Arab, the mother of the Arabs. So this woman is trying to make a connection between the single black mother nowadays and Hijr alayhi salam during that time. And this woman, she's an academic. I doubt if you find her in your local masjid upon Quran and Sunnah. She is anti-patriarchy. She's against male leadership. She believes she has the right. See, her premise is that Islam has been hijacked by men. And so all of the books of tafsir, all of the books of hadith, all of the books of fiqh, all of the books of spirituality, everything in Islam has been dominated by men and is in the favor of men. And so, because this so-called religion is anti-woman, we, women, have to go back in and reinterpret everything from the female perspective. And she's written books and even articles, promoting that agenda. She has a book, the title says something to the effect of reinterpreting the Quran from a female's perspective, the title something like that. So this is her premise. Now, like I said, she wrote this about 4 years ago. But for some reason, it came back up last week. And I guess social media is more prevalent now, so for whatever reason, for whatever purpose, somebody dug up the article and they begin to chastise her. And one thing about social media, I look at social media like if you used to watch wrestling, I don't know if they still have, they have this thing called the Royal Rumble. It's not just two people wrestling, it's everybody in there. And then when one person gets damaged, everybody just jumps on top of that person. Social media is like that. It don't matter if one person commends you, it's going to be a whole bunch of other people commending you. Likewise, if somebody's getting on you, somebody's talking bad about you, or somebody's putting you down, or somebody's correcting you, everybody's going to come and correct you. This is just the way people are on social media. So people, rightfully so, began to say, oh, wait a minute, hold on, this some type of joke or something? How can you actually say this? Are you a Muslim? How can you say this? Prophet Ibrahim, a deadbeat dad? Is this some kind of sick joke? And so people begin to go in. And she likes the attention. So she's interacting with all of these hundreds, maybe even thousands of people that's checking her on social media. And she's going back and forth. And with social media, the thing about it is, a lot of times by us correcting certain things, we end up promoting it. Because the more times you click on something, or watch something, or read something, they got all of these algorithms that allow them to see how many people go and check the site, and things become more popular. And if it's your page or your site, you become more popular. And then you pop up more on a Google search, and you pop up more. So by people going to her social media pages and checking her, they're inadvertently making her more popular. And likewise, in this back and forth, you see people discussing it all over the place. And believe it or not, you find that she has a lot of supporters who claim to be Muslim. Prophet Ibrahim, a deadbeat dad, I'm cool with that, that makes sense. What kind of man would take his wife and his son to the middle of the desert and just leave him there? This is some so-called Muslim saying. I even read where one so-called imam gave her a halfway compliment. I'm like, for real? Like, you have to be a strong woman to stand up to all of this bullying that you're going through. People coming at you for saying what you said. This is the situation, this is the weird world that we live in right now. So basically, what I intend to do, inshallah, is extract a few points from this. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen wa afdalu salatu wa atamu taslim ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Wa radiyallahu ta'ala an asatidati at-tabi'in wa ulama al-amilin wa a'immatul arba'ati mujtahidin wa muqallidin ila yawm al-din, amma ba'd. This situation, this incident, it brings up a lot of problems that we have. One of the problems that it brings up is a lot of us have the mentality, the mindset that we as individuals have the right, the ability and the right to think or say or believe whatever we want, regardless if it goes against the principles, the foundation of al-Islam, and we still have the right in our minds to be called and be considered Muslims. That's a problem. And if somebody comes along and says, hey, whoa, be careful. Do you know to say such a thing or to believe such a thing takes you outside of Islam? They will turn the tables on you. Oh, you're a takfiri. Who are you to kick people out of Islam? Nobody. I can't kick you out of Islam. You kicked yourself out of Islam by saying what you said. But we don't think like this because this are the signs of the times that we live in. I mean, you can literally be, this is the time we live in. You can literally be white. You can have a white mother, a white father, two sets on each side of your family of white grandparents, but call yourself black. Why? Because I feel like it. Who are you to say I identify as a black person? Who are you to tell me I'm not black? I was born with male genitalia. But you know what? Today, I don't feel like a male. I'm a woman. I'm a female. And who are you to tell me that I can't be a female? This is the time we live in. This is like the Twilight Zone. A lot of you younger people, you don't know the Twilight Zone. Twilight Zone is like, it's like this is the real world, this is the imaginary world, and this little gray area between is where we at. You don't know what's going on. Just weird. We got transgenders, transracials, and we're going to have trans Muslims. The ideas and beliefs that I have go against the very foundation of Islam. My ideas and thoughts violate all of the 6 pillars of Iman. But I identify as a Muslim. And if you say that I'm not a Muslim, you're the problem. You're an extremist. For this woman to come to the conclusion, even if she don't believe this, because some people, we live in an age where people, they need attention. So some people, for those of you who are, again, not on social media, you miss a lot of this stuff. There are some people who do the wildest things. They don't necessarily believe in anything, but they want more attention. Getting likes on social media is more valuable to some people than money. In fact, I'm not going to go to work today because I'm working on this post and I need to get 200 likes. I need to get 200 comments. Matter of fact, I'm a Muslim. I believe in everything the Prophet ﷺ said. I believe that the man who dresses like a woman is cursed and vice versa. But I need people to pay attention to me and I need people to laugh at me. So I'm going to put on this wig and I'm going to put on this dress and I'm going to make a little skit on social media to have people laughing. Alhamdulillah, 100 likes. This is the time period that we live in. People need that attention. This person that made these things, and I'm avoiding saying the person's name so you won't go look it up and make her even more popular. But those of you who are familiar with the situation, you already know her name. And if you know her name, you also know that this is not something new. She's been doing stuff like this for a long time. She has a track record. But what you have to understand that, number one, disrespecting, cursing, when I say cursing, I mean like F words, like, disparaging any prophet. I don't care if it's Isa, Jesus alayhi salam, Musa, Ibrahim, Harun, Yahya, any prophet, Noah. According to Islam, it's on the same level as doing any of those things regarding Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There's no difference. This is why we have to be careful, because we live in a society where most people identify as Christian. But these same Christians will make movies and stand-up comedy jokes about their own prophet, Jesus alayhi salam. And we'll sit up there and laugh. That's not nothing funny. Isa alayhi salam, Jesus, the son of Mary, is our prophet just as much or more so than them. It's not a laughing matter. And so, in the Shifa of Qadi Iyad, a well-known book dealing with many facets of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he has a subchapter dealing with this, dealing with the hukum, the legal ruling on those who disparage or curse prophets, other prophets other than Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as well as the angels. And one of the ayahs from Quran that he mentions to substantiate his point is from Surah Nisa, Surah 4, verses 150 and 151. إن الذين يكفرون بالله ورسله ويريدون أن يفرقوا بين الله ورسله ويقولون نؤمن ببعض ونكفر ببعض ويريد أن يتخذ بين ذلك سبيلا أولئك هم الكافرون حقا. Allah says, those who reject Allah and His Messenger and desire to make a division between Allah and His Messenger say, we believe in some and reject some, desiring to make a way between this and that. Those are the real disbelievers, and we have prepared a humiliating punishment for the unbelievers. See, this is part and parcel of their methodology. They look at the deen of Islam like a plate of food. I'll take from this. In other words, I'll take from this prophet. Some of them may even say, I accept Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But this Ibrahim dude, the one who left his son and his wife in the desert by himself, I can't go with him. They have the audacity to even arrive at a conclusion. They're missing something obvious. It's the elephant in the room. They're missing the obvious. And Allah calls them the real disbelievers. And even some say that, I follow the Quran, I don't follow the Sunnah. That argument is so weak that even if we entertain that for a little bit of time, and we say, okay, we're just going to only look at the Quran, there is no way in the world possible that you can say that you follow the Quran and not follow the Sunnah without, in reality, not even following the Quran. Because several places in the Quran, Allah tells you to follow, to obey, to take from His messenger, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then if you try to run the game and say, well, the Quran is sacred, it's protected, but the Sunnah is not. In other words, you try to say the Sunnah is not revelation. Allah tells you in the Quran, وَمَا يَنْتِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ. He, meaning the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, does not speak from his own desires. In other words, he doesn't speak from his lust, his passions, his nafs. He doesn't speak. That's not the origin of his speech. وَمَا يَنْتِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ إِنْ هُوَ وَحْيٌ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ يُوحَىٰ. His speech is only revelation being revealed. So his speech is revelation. And that's in the Quran. So how are you going to follow the Quran and not follow the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? You're a liar. Allah says in the Quran, whatever the messenger gives you, take it. And whatever he tells you to stay away from, stay away from. That's in the Quran. How can you follow the Quran and not follow the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? You're a liar. How can you obey Allah and not obey His messenger when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَأَتِيُوا اللَّهَ وَأَتِيُوا الرَّسُولَ? Follow, obey Allah and obey His messenger. That's in the Quran for the one who claims to only follow the Quran who wants to reject the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Anyone who comes to you with that type of logic, they're lying. They're not even following the Quran. Anybody who tries to make a distinction, tries to say, well, okay, this hadith, it contradicts the Quran, so I don't have to follow that hadith because it contradicts the Quran. If a hadith contradicts the Quran, it's one of a few things that's going on. Either you don't understand the hadith properly, or the hadith is not a hadith. It's been made up. There's no such thing, there's no way a hadith can contradict the Quran. I guarantee you, you say, well, okay, well, this hadith says this, and the ayah of the Quran says that. And they're both saying, obviously the Quran is sound and this hadith is sound. I guarantee you something is abrogated. There's something about that hadith you don't understand. Or you're understanding it a way different than everybody else for 1400 years understood it. And so Qadi Iyad, he mentioned several ayahs in addition to the one that I just mentioned, indicating that to disrespect or to disparage any prophet is equivalent to disrespecting or disparaging the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then he makes the statement. قال مالك في كتاب ابن الحبيب ومحمد وقال ابن القاسم وابن مهشون وابن عبد الحكم وأسباد وسحنون فيها شتم الأنبياء أو أحد منهم أو تنقصه قتل ولم يستقم. Says Malik recorded in the book of Ibn Habib and Muhammad ibn Abdul Salam and Ibn Qasim and Ibn Majishun, Ibn al-Hakim and Asbaq and As-Sahnun all said that anyone who reviles one or all of the prophets or disparages any of them is killed and not asked to repent. So in other words, according to the opinion of scholars, when somebody does something like this, they have to be killed and not, I'm giving you some chance to make tawbah. No, you don't give me a chance to make tawbah. And again, I have to make clear that we're not vigilantes, because when you say things like this, a lot of people, again, they're good at playing the victim. So, oh, he's calling for my death. No, I'm not. I'm just saying that if we were living in Islamic polity, you wouldn't even be hearing his words because you'd have been killed already. And I think it's worse for the person because they're protected in this life. The ones who they're really working for, the kuffar, because they're really attacking Islam. I don't for a minute believe that they believe in their mind that they're a real Muslim. This is my opinion. Allah knows best. They have an agenda, and they've been doing this for a long time. They know that they're working for the interests of the disbelievers. And just like Salman Rushdie, the one who wrote the satirical novel where, you know, he talks about some real foul things about the Prophet ﷺ and his wife. He's protected by the kuffar. And this is decades ago he wrote this. He comes all over the place and, you know, gives speeches and like they do stuff like that to antagonize the Muslims. Like, okay, you say you love your prophet, here's somebody who cursed your prophet. He's giving a lecture at this university today. What you gonna do about it? They do that to antagonize you. The thing about it is, they think they're helping that person out or protecting that person. Nobody can protect them from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. See, the way the Sahaba understood it, when they committed a sin or did something wrong, they wanted to get punished for it in this life. Why? Because it removed the punishment for them in the next life. But see, these people we talk about, they don't even believe in none of that stuff. So they only think about this life. So they think they're protected, they think they're really doing something. And because we're running out of time, I think it's more important for us that we know the basics of our deen. So when we come across this abhorrent and deviant line of thinking, we're able to address it properly. A lot of people, they call it in like psychology red flag words or red flag terms. Like for example, most black people, you mention the word slavery and we just blank out. Why? Why do we blank out? Because many of us are descended from people who were enslaved in the Western Hemisphere. In the Western Hemisphere, slavery involved certain things. It meant being kidnapped from another continent. It meant being stripped of your religion, your deen, being stripped from your family. It meant being raped repetitively. It meant being beaten repetitively. It meant another human being having absolute control over you. It meant centuries of trauma. So it's natural when you say the word slavery, to many of us, we blank out. So no, I ain't trying to have no slavery. No. It's wrong, period. And so because you have that in your DNA, your psychology, then they come and say, no, in Islam they enslave black people too. The Arabs enslaved the blacks. And so now the seed of doubt is planted. And of course they're not going to tell you the whole story. So it's important that many of us, we have doubts. Because we don't know our deen, even the basics of it. So when somebody like this comes along saying such things, you know, the black woman in this society is traumatized. And so when they hear her spin on things, say, whoa, Islam commemorates a so-called prophet who was a deadbeat dad? I don't know about this. How would it be like? And these people, they're so smart that they're stupid. Historically, from the time of the Prophet ﷺ, every time they try to turn people away from Islam, the very people who they try to discourage from becoming Muslim become Muslim more than anybody else. What are some of the ways that they slander the Muslims? They say that Islam oppresses women. Any of our women who go out wearing hijab, especially niqab, and they start talking to non-Muslim, they say, oh, does your husband force you to wear that? Because it's understood in their mind that this deen, the men oppress women. Many studies have proven that women become Muslim at a faster and higher rate than men. So that propaganda is having a reverse effect. I'm just going to read in English a part of the narration of the hadith. Ibn Abbas, it's a long hadith. It says, been narrated on authority of Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him, the first lady to use a girdle was the mother of Ismail. She used a girdle so that she might hide her tracks from Sarah by dragging him on the ground. Ibrahim brought her and her son Ismail while she was suckling him to a place near the Kaaba, under a tree on the spot of Zamzam, at the highest place in the masjid. Now you have to remember, there's no masjid there, but it's the place. The place was made sacred. If you know the history of the Kaaba, the foundations was raised by Adam, alayhi salam, and Ibrahim built upon those foundations after this event that we're reading here in this hadith. During those days, there was nobody in Mecca, nor was there any water. So he made them sit over there and placed near them a leather bag containing some dates and a small water skin containing some water, and set out homeward. Ismail's mother followed him, saying, "O Ibrahim, where are you going? Leaving us in this valley where there is no person whose company we may enjoy, nor is there anything to enjoy?" She repeated this to him many times, but he did not look back at her. Then she asked him, "Has Allah ordered you to do this?" He said, "Yes." She said, "Then he will not neglect us," and returned while Ibrahim proceeded onwards. And on reaching the Thania, where he could not see him, they could not see him, he faced the Kaaba and raised both hands, invoking Allah, saying the following prayers. And the reason why I mention this portion of the hadith is because nobody can say that, what this wretched woman has said, without leaving Allah out the equation. Because this man was guided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hajar asked him, "Did Allah command you to do this?" And he said yes, and she was cool with it. See, the only way you can arrive at these false conclusions is that you ignore Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's why this person and people that think like that, their real problem is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What do you think makes a prophet? Allah guides you, Allah sends you. So your real problem is not with the person. Your real problem is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the Quran. It's not you that they have a problem with. They have a problem with us, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's where the problem is. And Abu Jahl said it according to some narrations. He verified the proof, the veracity, the truthfulness, and the lineage and the character of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said his problem is what he came with. And so sometimes it's important that we psychoanalyze these enemies of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Their so-called argument is a smokescreen. They're mad at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This woman, she hates men. Everything is anti-man. She hates you, she hates me. She definitely hates the alpha male. She hates the prophets. But if you hate the prophets, you think people just woke up and say, "You know what? I think it's a good day to declare myself a prophet"? Well, some people do that. I'm talking about real prophets. Real prophets. Allah sent them. So if you hate them, you hate the one that sent them. May Allah protect us from them and their schemes.
Imam Naeem Abdullah of Masjid Al-Mu'min and Nur Zaman Institute is available for speaking engagements. You can contact Imam Naeem Abdullah at the following: via telephone at 267-388-0823, or write him at 537 Paulson Avenue, Pittsburgh, PA 15206, or via email at imamnaeem@nurzamaninstitute.org.
Bismillah. محمد